Hello, YouTube, and welcome to Newton, Iowa, Site 2 Chase Race number 9 and race 35 of the season. And so we've just got 2 races left, and we've got qualifying on tap here today. First on track is Mark George, the Big Red Havoline Dodge, car number 42, and they are third in the owner's points.
So Mark George is coming off a 6th place at the 8 Bowl. His chase run so far has been pretty lackluster, but he's pretty high up in the points with all the problems. 8th at Talladega and 38th at Muscat. Our final short track of the race of the year, he finished 18th at Irwindale, and he recorded a 7th at Richmond. So we see how he does this weekend.
Didn't mention 8 Bowl in there. Zach Rogers, car number 10 with the red roof number this week. They are 21st in the owner's points.
Zach Rogers, 38th, 16th, 18th. They haven't had a top 10 since Kansas. They finished 9th at Richmond, and Irwindale was 28th. It'll be the last time they have a second car this weekend helping them out, so we'll see how they do.
You mean an extra car, 4th car, basically, actually. Max Anderson, the Snickers 4 car 88, is 35th in the owner's points.
So Max is 34th, 33rd, and 33rd, 19th. The last, that's a tongue twister right there. DNQ'd at Muscat, so the team's consistency of top 20 has been kind of going away at the end of the season. But nevertheless, it's been a great 2 months for the team, a bunch of top 20s. So trying to get 2 more races with those and not a DNQ.
Dylan Young, the DuPont Chevrolet car 24, comes into this one 12th in the owner's points.
So Dylan Young, his chase has kind of faltered here. He had a 9th at Irwindale, but could have had a win if they didn't have problems. 39th, 40th, and 18th the last 3 weeks. It's been a really bad stretch, and they finished 24th at Richmond, so I don't see them getting any better. But I believe Dylan might have won this race in the Hooters Series, so it might be a upgrade for them.
Joshua Osborne currently is second quickest with the Haas Automation Chevrolet car 70, is 31st in the owner's points.
Not Jonathan, Joshua Osborne. So they've made 5 out of the last 6 races after DNQing 4 races in a row. 31st, 21st, and 33rd. They DNQ'd Richmond and they DNQ'd Irwindale. So they need a good road course. Not road. Yeah. You can tell it's early. You can tell it's early in the morning. A good short track car.
You know, normally we're blaming late at night recordings. Zachary DeLello in the 49 car, his last well, never mind. Maybe his last appearance this season. They are 54th in the owner's points.
I'll confirm that is not his last appearance. Anyways, he DNQ'd at 8 Bowl, 35th at Talladega thanks to win at Michigan, 26th at Kansas, and 32nd at Cleveland. It's been a decent season for BAM racing, but a kind of crappy season on the same pace. So we'll see how he does.
I mean, they got to win. It's something I don't think they really could say about season 1.
Yeah, that's very true. And they'll probably be back next year. I don't know if we'll make that announcement about Homestead yet, so I'll keep my mouth shut about it.
Well, as we look at Summit Oscon, what I'll say is that there's a rumor around the garage area that we might have more entries next weekend at Homestead. As Summit Oscon, the Pennzoil Chevrolet, and never mind, we're going to have a wreck up here involving Zach Rogers, the Valvoline Dodge.
Yeah, that's backup.
That is significant damage to the nose of the 10, and yeah, I do think that will be a backup car. Summit Oscon, the Pennzoil Chevrolet car 29, is currently 12th quickest in this session, and they are 34th in the owner's points.
Smet crashed out at 8. No, they didn't crash it. We had no wrecks last week. 35th at 8 Bowl, DNQ'd at Muscat, and DNQ'd at Irwindale, but finished 6th at Talladega. They also they actually did make Richmond finish 21st. Smet's first season, it's been kind of, team won the owner's title last year, and they have faltered pretty far, but Smet's put in a good effort this year, so we'll see how he does this weekend.
Ali Nelson in the 36 360 OTC Toyota is currently 6th quickest, and they are 39th in the owner's points.
So the reason why Ali has dropped so much, poor Ali has DNQ'd 3 races in a row, and 2 of them she didn't even attempt. Actually, 4 out of the last 5. The last race she made, she finished 39th at Irwindale after running top 15. The pit road shenanigans cost her. She also DNQ'd Richmond, so the short track program has not helped out, but a pretty fast lap time right now is going to get her into the field.
Well, I mean, to be fair, there's still 10 minutes left, so don't be too quick on that one. Henry Sanford, the Domino's Toyota, is 4th quickest right now, and this Michael Waltrip Racing entry comes into this one 5th in the owner's points.
They've moved up pretty significantly after a 2nd place 8 Bowl. They lost to Isaac Flickers, so that's not a lot to say proud of. 24th at Musket, 38th at Talladega. They're
Oh,
chasing.
Allie Nelson to the top of the board, by the way.
That's the commentator. See, I was leading Allie to the right path. They listened to me on the radio. Henry Sanford's best run besides that, second place was 12th in the chase at Irwindale. So it's been a struggling chase, but still top 5 in the points. So I can't really say it's been that bad. So we'll see how Henry does this weekend.
Seth Cole, the National Guard Chevrolet, is currently 21st quickest, and they come into this one 17th in the owner's points.
So Seth, he finished second at Musket and 32nd at 8 Bull. It's been kind of a lackluster few weekends now. Seth is now the longest losing streak driver in the Cup Series. Active, yeah,
and
correct.
Currently is an active driver.
Currently an active driver, 50-plus races dating back to season 3 at Michigan. So Seth is trying to break the trend like all his friends this season have.
And the reason why his is only at 50, despite that long time frame, is he DNQ'd a lot last season.
Yeah.
Alexander Rowe in the 12 just ran his quickest lap time of the race, good enough for 12th quickest in this session, and they are 50th in the owner's points coming in.
So Alexander Rowe, if we could give a driver for the most improved in the second half of the season since the 10th place in Richmond, we'll give it to Alexander. In the last 10 races, besides a few DNQs, out of his control, 15th first, he won at Musket, 7th, 4th, 16th, 24th, and 10th. Not the magical 21st position, so Alexander Rowe has been impressing me, and I'm going to fall off this chair.
William Brock in the Interstate Battery Chevrolet is currently 16th quickest, and the team comes into this one. I'm sorry, Alexander Rowe is 40th in points. I think I said 50th. William Brock is 44th.
So Brock has DNQ'd 3 straight races in a row, but 2 of them he didn't even attempt. Actually, 4 of the last 5. 14th at Irwindale, and at Richmond they finished 31st. So Brock's got the speed when they make the races, but they have a little bit of speed. Let me correct myself. But we'll see how Brock does this weekend. 2 races to go. The 18 the last 2 seasons have been god awful. So hopefully in season 6 it'll be better.
Hopefully. Jeffrey McCullough just got the wall. RJ Reynolds is going to the pit lane in the UPS Toyota. Car 44 is 24th quickest right now in this session. That will need to improve. They are 46th in the owner's points.
The reason why they dropped so much is 5 straight DNQs, and actually 8 out of the last 10 races they have missed, besides 40th at Lime Rock and a 2nd at Cleveland. How ironic. So the 44 knock time is not going to be good enough, but like Charles said, 7 minutes to go to improve, but they're going to like to make it a 6 straight with that time.
Cole Deaver, the Elvis Presley Budweiser Chevrolet, is currently 19th quickest in this session, and they are 18th in the owner's points.
So it's kind of been a lackluster last 10 races from 1 at Picks Creek, 7th at Cleveland, but 33rd, 41st the last 2 weeks. They finished 24th at Irwindale and 19th at Richmond, so I expect them to have a mid-pack finish here today.
Rumored to maybe be going to Hendrick next season. We'll have to wait and see. There's nothing confirmed on that at all.
Are all the spots taken?
No. There's 1 spot that they supposedly have yet to sign. So.
Oh.
James Qualls, the FedEx Kinko Chevrolet, is currently 25th quickest in this session, and they come into this one 29th in the owner's points.
So James Qualls, he's not in the chase, but his best finish in the last 8 races was 19th at Kansas. They actually are not blowing up this qualifying session at a short track, but pretty slow. So Qualls are trying to improve that. I think it's the first time we've seen the blue car in the COT this year, too.
Might have been Steve Pollard to the top of the board. We'll get to that later. Amy Shelley, the Altel Mobile One Dodge, is currently 26th quickest, the slowest in this session. And they come into this one 13th in the owner's points.
So the last 3 races, 5th, 10th, and 11th, so good momentum for the 12 team. They won at Richmond, and they finished 33rd at Irwindale. So if they brought the Richmond car, they might have a shot to win this weekend. I believe, it was COT, so we'll see how they do.
Tristan Wilhoit, the Lumber Liquidators Ford, as Mary Shelley to the top of the board now, right behind him. The 16 team comes into this one 11th in the owner's points.
So the reason why they're 11th, 28th, 37th, 19th, they have 2 top 10s in the chase so far this year, but besides the Crown Jewel races, Wilhoit has done absolutely nothing, so I'm not really surprised they're that far down.
Zachary Fitzwater, the Dodge Dealers Dodge, is currently 5th quickest in the session, and they are 24th in the owner's points.
So, but when they were on the bubble in the 30th, they had a horrible 5 or 6 races. The best finish at 25th. 4 straight top 15s for Fitzwater. It's been a good stretch of race from trying to finish the season off strong. I believe he will return next year, so momentum will help him.
If he is returning, it is not to the 19.
Yes.
So, Stephen Paul III, car 23, with the sponsor on the deck lid this week, is 13th quickest right now in this session, and they are 15th in owner's points.
Man, Stephen Paul III, wish he was in the chase. 6th, 5th, 8th, 1st, 15th, and 16th. The last few races have been a great stretch of races for him. And Steven's got a lot of momentum on his side. If he can finish off the last 2 races, it'd be strong. Pollard is rumored to go to Red Bull next year, so trying to build that momentum for next year.
At least that is definitely the leading rumor for him, yes. Jeffrey McCullough, the Irwin Tools Ford, is currently 9th quickest in this session, and the team is 45th in the owner's points.
So they DNQ'd 4 out of the last 5 races. And Charles, the last 3 races they've made, they finished 29th. And they finished 17th at Richmond and Pigs Creek. So it's either going to be a 17th or 29th they're made. And McCullough's looking to become the worst driver in series history, as he's the only one without a top 10 finish ever to run the full season.
Steve Pollard in the Camping World Chevrolet is currently 2nd quickest in this session, and the 33 team themselves is 36th in the owner's points.
So Steve, wish he had his brother's results. It's 32nd, 11th, and 29th. It's been a struggling chase for Steve. RCR kind of just throwing the second car out of nowhere. He should have ran the 98, but that's a different story. Steve is also rumored to go to Red Bull next year, but I can't complain. Steve's made the chase 2 years in a row, and he's been running pretty good. But a 2nd place right now, trying to at least maybe give him a shot at Homestead.
Mary Shelley right there, the M&M's Ford, like we mentioned, is currently the quickest car in this session, and the team comes into this one 33rd in the owner's points.
So Mary had a feel-good run at Kansas, 2nd place. Everyone wanted to see that. 7th and 8th pole. The team's been making more races. They've made 5 straight races for them due to their win last season at Richmond. Mary also has a long losing streak dating back to last year. Trying to make it 6 row and they've before the streak they were missed 3 in a row, but trying to make this one. I can't talk.
William Flickinger, the Coors Light Dodge, is currently 14th quickest, and they are 47th in the owner's points.
So kind of short, running a little low on time. 4 straight DNQ, actually 4 out of the last 5 out of the last 6 they've DNQ'd, 10th and 12th in the races they made. And last weekend they have finally dethroned Kev to take the points lead. It took about 20 years to do it, but they finally did.
At least.
Yeah, they took them 20 years, but they finally did it.
Christopher Pierce, the Target Dodge, is 25th quickest now in this session, and they are 30th in the owner's points. They can't lose that spot at any point this season.
Well, they're trying their damn hardest. So 2 23rds, 42nd, and 37th.
That's mathematically impossible.
Yeah, it's been a pretty tough stretch of races for the team. Last year they weren't any good, and this year they haven't been pretty good at all. So maybe next year the 41 team will finally improve.
So yeah, top 30 in points is guaranteed. We know who it will be at the end of the season. It's just a matter of what order they're in. Alger Baranowski's car 46 is 21st quickest right now, and they are 55th in the owner's points, lowest of the COT part-times.
So they finished 5th at Pigs Creek. They've missed 3 races in a row. The only, besides the 66 in the other side, those 2 are the only 2 have not won out of the part-time efforts. Baranowskis is rumored to run the 80 next week, so we'll see if he actually does it. But that lap time's not going to convince Gibbs to fill them an entry. Oh, never mind. She's up to 12th.
Well, either way. Henry Williams in the 77 Camping World Ford is currently 6th quickest in this session, and they are 52nd in the owner's points.
So 28th at Talladega. They've missed a few races. 34th at Cleveland, not custom of the Robbie Gordon. 2nd at Pigs Creek. Henry's had a good season. He's won the race. He won the Coca-Cola, and he won the All-Star race. So the last time we're going to see a Robbie Gordon card was 2009. But
Robbie Gordon car, you mean?
We'll actually see him next weekend, I believe, too. But Henry's looking for some momentum. That lap time is going to be good. I was kind of
looking to try to knock down the wall.
I was like a short track road course in a way with the way you enter the corner, so I'm not surprised that lap time, as we are just about finished now. Good timing.
Yeah, we finished all the cars themselves, so.
Baranowski's the 6th. You know what? This is the second time it happened. I said that about Allie Nelson. She went up. I said that about Baranowski's. They went up. So who am I going to jinx next?
Well, trying to get to where I can see cars come across, but
Max Anderson's got the side of that car destroyed.
It's gonna be hard for me to actually look at, but there's the bottom of it. Flying laps are counting right now, I believe.
RJ and Brock are having a house call right now.
Oh, never mind. And so that is it for the first round, or the first group of qualifying. Mary Shelley, the highest. Few go or go homers in the wow, Baranowskis back-to-back fast laps. So looks like Mary Shelley, Steve Pollard, Allie Nelson, Baranowskis, Henry Williams, and Alexander Rowe and Jeffrey McCullough might be safe. Actually, considering how many are up there, I don't know who's going to be safe out of that.
Oscon, Flickinger, Anderson, DeLello, Reynolds, and Brock not looking too good right now.
So I think it's going to be safe to say that Reynolds and Brock probably going to go to the house. DeLello probably as well. William Flickinger, Max Anderson, Oscon definitely going to have to be sweating some bullets. Maybe even McCullough there despite being in the top 10 in this group. So with that, we'll take a break and we'll be right back for group number 2. And we are back for group number 2, just waiting for a car to go out there onto the racetrack. And looks like we have our first volunteer. It is going to be the 17 of Brennan Patterson, the R&L Carriers Ford. Car 17 comes into this one 22nd in the owner's points.
So, like we mentioned the last few weeks on the broadcast, Brendan Patterson retirement tour has not gone too well as I get back to 8 Bull. 4th at 8 Bull, actually, that was a pretty good run in the retirement tour. 18th, 36th, and 2nd at Irwindale throughout all the craziness, and they finished 16th at Richmond. 2 more races in the career of Brendan Patterson. You'll see how he goes out strong or weak.
Mohamed Zainadullah, car number 1, the Bass Pro Shops Tracker Boat Chevrolet, is 26th in the owner's points coming into this one.
So, like I've been saying the last 2 weeks, the Coke Vanilla Cup Series bust, but he's been performing the last 3 out of the last 4 weeks. It's been 3 top 13 finishes, but a 2038 Bull led back to his bust status. He was 8th in points at one point, and he's dropped all the way down. If he returns next season, he's going to need a confidence booster because he really dropped the one team down in points.
Jonathan Zorline, car number 7, the the Camping World Ford for Robbie Gordon Motorsports, is the owner's points leader coming into this one.
So Zorline, if I can ferry is. So he finished 3rd 2 weeks in a row, had that disappointing Talladega crash from the pole. We might very well see 2 champions in the series again this year thanks to Zorline's strong run. Like I mentioned with his teammate, the 77, it's like a road course the way the corners are set up at Iowa, and he's going to have the 77 for 2 races in a row. So extra setup help is going to absolutely help Zorline. And $1 million doesn't help either.
Sky Commons, the Red Bull Toyota with the yellow on the side of it, is coming into this one 32nd in the owner's points.
So ever since the win at Cleveland for Sky, D&Q 3 races and the best finish at 29. So momentum is definitely not on the side of the 83 team, and they haven't set a lap time yet, but they have the 84 to help out the next 2 weeks. So we'll see if Sky can make it. But it's kind of a loss because they can't get top 30.
Jessica Shelton, the Ford Motorcraft Ford for the Wood Brothers, is now times are still going to adjust. They are 4th quickest now, 14th in the owner's points for this one.
So Jessica is 30th and 24th the last 2 weeks. Finished 3rd at Kansas after having a good stretch of races. 29th at Richmond, and Irwindale was a 35th due to the craziness. Jess done pretty well this season with a consistency rating, and we'll see how they do with Zorline to the top of the chart.
Shelton rumored to either renew with the Wood Brothers or move over to Roush Racing actually next season, so we'll have to see what happens there. Preston Plord in car number 20, the Home Depot Chevrolet, comes into this one. They are 27th in the owner's points.
So 21st and 19th, they finished 34th at Irwindale and a dismal 22nd. The 20 team they won a race this year, but they haven't really done anything since. I believe they won they won Ontario.
By the way, pole sitting time will come from this session because Preston Plord is currently ran the quickest lap time of the entire session.
So there's Preston Plord having a good result. Hasn't been a good season, but we'll see. The Gibbs as a whole has been pretty crappy this year.
They haven't really been good for a while. Tom
Yeah.
Shelley in car number 45, the Marathon Oil Dodge, comes into this one 43rd in the owner's points.
So DNQ'd 5 out of the last 7 races, but 2 of them wasn't really their fault. 6th at Kansas and the 31st at Muscat. They finished 33rd at Richmond, and they didn't even make Irwindale. So the 45, it's been a really tough season for the Shelleys. So looking for a momentum best booster. I'm pretty sure Tom will run the 45 for the last time ever next year. So we'll see how that goes.
Sky Common's up to 3rd right now in this session, but that is still a very slow lap time compared. Charles Jackson in the Dodge Dealers Dodge comes into this one 6th in the owner's points.
So Jackson finished 8th at April. He won at Kansas, but it's been a pretty dismal chase for them. Next week, yeah, that's a pretty good lap time. They've been pretty good at the short tracks this year. It's been like up and down consistency for them. So Jackson, I believe, I don't know if that's confirmed, so I can't say that. But Jackson doing pretty good this
Plans
season.
Are still up in the air at this point.
Yeah.
I know what he's referring to. Vince Almarego, the Moen Chevrolet, the Moen Menards Chevrolet, I should say, comes into this one 8th in the owner's points.
So Vince 36th, 8th at Muscat. They did win at Lime Rock, but it's been a pretty dismal chase besides that. The 15's like the 60, even though they run a lot better. It's sneakily consistent. Doing pretty good in the chase. I believe it's the first time they made it. Last year they had a revolving door of drivers from Theo and Henry.
They made the owner's chase last year, I believe.
Yeah, thanks to Theo's win. So the 15 team's doing a lot better than they did in real life, because in real life they were below 30th in points. So good job to the 15 guys.
By the way, right now there's a tie, or there was a tie with the 45 and the 05, but that one would have gone to the 05. Robert Pollard in car 98 is currently 13th quickest with a 21.74. We'll need to improve that lap time. And the 98 comes into this one 43rd, or no, not 43rd, 53rd in the owner's points.
So the team is... Good save. The team has won the season with Robert Pollard at Motorsport, 37th, 9th, and 14th. So the 98 has had a decent season, just out there to help out the 10 and the 9 with setups and stuff. And Steve has driven it pretty well, and Robert has too. Robert is rumored to run the 71 once again, just to get a number off the board next week. Probably going to DQ and flip like he did at Indies as Kyle hits the wall. So we'll see how Robert does. 2 more races for him, and he's rumored to go full-time with Red Bull at the moment if the MLB subscription goes through.
Sam Young, the Wiley X Chevrolet, is currently 3rd quickest in this session. There is no sponsor on that deck lid. And the 14 team comes into this one 4th in the owner's points.
So Sam came in a shot with to win all 3 titles, and it looks like this is going to be the one title that he has still has a shot at, as the other 2 were far enough this season. No, they're not going to have a shot at it. 4th at Muscat, that's the only good run they've had in the chase. Their second best result was the 15th at Irwindale. So Sam has kind of choked 3 championships away, but we'll see how he does this weekend.
Well, I think he still actually has a mathematical shot in all of them. Trucks we don't even know yet because they're set to run tomorrow.
Yes.
Jack James, the Lucas Oil Chevrolet for Morgan McClure, as someone was scraping the wall down the front straightaway. They come into this one 28th in the owner's points.
So Jack's best run since his return, besides the 5th at Richmond, was 15th at Kansas. They finished, 31st at Irwindale. The Ford team hasn't run too good this year, but the big improvement, they missed 20-plus races with North last year, so they've been making a lot more races. So hopefully next year they can improve on those gains and try to be in the top 20 more.
Chris Washer, the CarQuest Kellogg Chevrolet, is 24th quickest in this session, and they come into this one 7th in the owner's points.
Whoa, nice save, man.
Great save.
So on to Chris Washer. His chase has been pretty dismal too. 4th and 3rd is the only good results they've had, and the best finish besides that is 13th. Washer will not return to the 5. I believe that was said a couple of weeks ago on the broadcast. So Washer trying to go out strong. Won the championship last season. He won race 35 at Thornton last season. So if he's trying to do a repeat of this to have a shot at Homestead.
Delon Abrahamian, the AAA Insurance Ford Fusion for Roush Racing, is 16th quickest in this session, and they are 16th in the owner's points.
So they finished 9th and 25th the last 2 weekends. 4th at, no, that's the wrong one. Irwindale 16th and at Richmond 26th. So look for the team to have a top 20 run. It's been like the real life David Reagan. Good runs, can't win, and inconsistency.
Chris Louvier of the U.S. Army Chevrolet with the DEI stripes this week is now up to 16th quickest, and they come into this one second in the owner's points.
So Louvier with Waste Management on the deck with third and fourth at Talladega and Irwindale, but a 41st and a 39th during this run has hurt them. That's why they're second. They would have been the points leader. 14th at 8th Bowl, 34th at Richmond, and a third at I've already said that like 3 times. Shit. We'll see how they do this weekend.
Meanwhile, Zach Flickinger has jumped up to second quickest in this session.
It looks like they got the Pigs Creek set up on them. The Pig Stadium.
We haven't mentioned this. I think we mentioned his car. Charles Sanford is currently now 15th quickest in this session. The Team Chevy Chevrolet, and S3 Motorsports comes into this one 37th in the owner's points.
So after a really good stretch of races, they've made about 6 straight. They had a 39th at 8 Bowl, lost the draft, but the car was a little down in power. Besides that, their worst finish was 22nd. The all 5 teams got a lot of momentum, and they are not closing down the doors because they have some more funding coming in. Next season, they'll be full-time again, so we'll see how Charles does to build the momentum.
Still living off. They actually have more sponsorship lined up for next season, according to team officials. So,
yeah, those runs really helped.
Johnny Gardner, the Penske Truck Rentals Dodge, looking forward to moving over to Hendrick Motorsports next season in the 25 car, 22nd quickest in this session. And the 06 team comes into this one 48th in the owner's points.
If you want to talk about a dismal stretch of races, 6 out of the last 7. They've missed 6 races, and the one race they made, they finished 42nd without even taking a lap. So it's been a horrible.
Green.
Yeah, they didn't even. Like Charles said, it's been a horrible stretch for Johnny Gardner, and that lap time is not getting any better.
No.
Well, Johnny's not going to be locked in next year either, so he might continue the trend going next year.
Will Lewis, the DirecTV Chevrolet, is currently 8th quickest, and the 07 team comes into this one 23rd in the owner's points.
So their first really good run since Bristol, they finished second, but they finished second to Isaac Flickinger, so that's nothing really to be harping their head on. 24th at Musket, 38th at Talladega, 12th and 23rd the last 2 short tracks. We'll see how they do, and that 07 car is 8th fastest, and that was a throwback that was posted this week on the group.
Bill Bragg Jr., the 22 Caterpillar Toyota, is 25th quickest in this session. They have the yellow splitter? No, the black. They have the black splitter there. Okay. The 22 is 9th in the owner's points coming in.
So the reason why they've dropped 42nd at 8 Bowl, that reminds me of their 42nd at South Boston, which led to a plummet in the points. So that was a really momentum derailing, the only problem we saw last weekend. So the 22 trying to get some momentum set, but it looks like it's pretty done deal with his championship hopes.
I try and remember how big the gap is for him coming in. William Duncan, the Lennox Tools Chevrolet, is currently 3rd quickest in this session, and they are... Where are they? They are 19th in the owner's points coming in.
Dropping because 27th to 30th the last 2 weekends. 5th at Talladega was a good result from the 25th, and a 4th at Richmond for the team, so they're not running too bad. The 31 has never really been too good in this series, so trying to build on next year.
Kev Shear, the Cheerios Dodge, is currently 13th quickest in this session. The 43 team is 38th in the owner's points.
So they've actually made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They've made 9 of the last 10 races, which has led to William Flickinger finally dethroning Kev after 20,000 years. 13 looks like another lap time to make the race. They've had pretty good results too. They finished 5th at 8 Bowl after coming from the back of the field. So we see how Kev does this weekend. The lap time will be right on the border of making it.
It's definitely close. Kyle Matthews back in the 48 car after a 2-week hiatus from the team to deal with his injury. And the 48 team now is 25th in the owner's points.
So Kyle missed, like you mentioned, the 25th at Talladega was the last result, 36th at Irwindale, and 28th at Richmond. The 48 team is definitely not running like the real-life comparison, dominating races, but decently, that's like the 3rd best Hendrick car in the stable, so 4th actually. So we'll see how they do this weekend. I'll give Seth a rank over them.
Zach Flickinger, the Napa Auto Parts Toyota, as mentioned, is 2nd quickest in this session, and the 55 team is 41st in the owner's points coming in.
So they've missed 7 out of the last 9 races. They finished 10th at Kansas, 27th at Lime Rock. First year team first year for Michael Walter. The 55 made the chase last year with Gene I believe they finished fifth, if I'm not mistaken. The
Huh?
best out. Gene finished fifth in points last year.
Yes, she did. But that
So
was also his third Bill Davis car, technically.
yeah, so the 55 transferred to this. That has been a really downward spiral for Michael Waltrip in the 55 car. So we'll see how they do for next season, trying to build because Zach Flickinger hasn't done much.
Tim Randolph is currently not on track in the 60, 18th quickest, and that leads me to believe that something happened there. I don't know quite what, but so with that, I can't really confirm whether or not they're a backup car or not. The 60, though, is 10th in the owner's points coming in.
They only have one scheme, so it doesn't really matter. So what got him into the chase was the consistency running pretty good in the back of the field. Oh, there he is right there. So Tim Randolph has not shown that in the chase. One third place run for Tim, and that's pretty much all he's done in the chase, not harping on what he did in the regular season. 26 to 20 for the last 2 weekends, so just trying to build momentum for the final 2 weekends here.
Final couple cars. Matt Dixon with the
Ouch.
blue stripe is currently 25th quickest in this one, and the 84 team comes in this one 50th in the owner's points.
So Dixon started the season very well, running toward the front, one of the best cars. DQ'd, he finished 17th at Talladega, 11th at Kansas. Dixon has two more shots, might run Homestead next weekend, and this right now looks like a DQ. Tough break for Dixon. He's won 2 DQ races this year, too, if I might add.
And finally, Levi McIntyre in the Boston Red Sox Lumber Liquidators Ford is currently 6th quickest in this session, and they are 20th in the owner's points.
So the reason why the 10th at 8 Bowl and 15th at Talladega, right in the middle, was the 42nd that they killed Chris Louvier there at Musket. The 99 team won 2 races last year, looking to get a win in the final 2 races. It's been a kind of a downward spiral for Levi this year.
Good job, you got it done in 30 seconds. So Preston Ford will be the pole sitter here for Iowa. That is what I do know, and I did not have time to be able to look for the Go home results right now. So I
Matt
have
Dixon
no clue.
house.
I mean, it definitely looks like Matt Dixon, Johnny Gardner might go to
Rock.
the house. Well, you know what? Charles Saintfer actually improved his time. I thought he was going to the house for sure because at one point there, his lap time wasn't even good enough to beat Zach DeLello. So Saintfer's going to be close. Kev's going to be close. Sky Common's going to be close as well. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. But that has been qualifying. You'll see the starting grid right after this. And I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Steven, your final thoughts or anything? Or?
Well, I can't wait. 2 races to go. Good qualifying. Braddock in the back. That's an ouch for Braddock. And yeah, truck races next tomorrow. Stay tuned. The Hooters race, we've seen a big wreck fest in that. So who knows? Could shake up the points if we have a wreck fest in those 2 races.
So with that, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you haven't today for more gaming and racing related content. I'm Gordon Fan1 and this has been a production of the NRSL. We'll see you guys next time.
See you guys.